goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Please repeat. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. In the Bhagavad Gita 7.3, it is said that out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection in life. Mostly, men are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance. And thus, they are engaged always in lust, desire, hankerings, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. And out of many thousands of such persons who have thus attained success in human life, one may know scientifically about the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. In the same Bhagavad Gita 1855, it is also said that scientific knowledge of Sri Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga. The very same thing is confirmed herein in the above words. No ordinary man or even one who has attained success in human life can know scientifically or perfectly the personality of Godhead. Perfection of human life is attained when one can understand that he is not the product of matter, but is in fact spirit. And as soon as one understands that he has nothing to do with matter, he at once ceases his material hankerings and becomes enlivened as a spiritual being. This attainment of success is possible when one is above the modes of passion and ignorance. Or, in other words, when one is actually a Brahmana by qualification. A Brahmana is a symbol of Sattva Guna, or the mode of goodness. And others who are not in the mode of goodness are either Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, or less than the Shudras. The Brahmanical stage is the highest stage of human life because of its good qualities. So one cannot be a devotee unless one at least qualifies as a Brahmana. The devotee is already a Brahmana by action. But that is not the end of it. As referred to above, such Brahmana has to become a Vaishnava. In fact, to be actually in the transcendental stage. A pure Vaishnava is liberated soul and is transcendental even to the position of Brahmana. In the material stage, even a Brahmana is also conditioned soul because although in the Brahmanical stage, the conception of Brahman or transcendence is realized. Scientific knowledge of the Supreme Lord is lacking. One has to surpass the Brahmanical stage and reach the Vasudeva stage to understand the personality of Godhead. Krishna. The science of the personality of Godhead is the subject matter for study by the postgraduate students in the spiritual line. Foolish men or men with poor fund of knowledge do not understand the Supreme Lord, and they interpret Krishna according to their respective whims. The fact is, however, that one cannot understand the science of personality of Godhead unless one is freed from the contamination of the material modes. Even to the stage of Brahmana, when a qualified Brahmana factually becomes a Vaishnava in the enlivened state of liberation, he can know what is actually the personality of Godhead. End of the book. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this is the section of this chapter that gives the Bhakti Yoga ladder from Shraddha to Prema. This matter began when the sages asked the question, what is the essence of all Vedic scripture? And the answer was Bhakti. The essence of all Vedic scripture is Bhakti. So from the 6th verse up to 16, Sut Goswami glorified Bhakti. 6th verse is the Savayapumsam Parodharmo. That's where he explains the Bhakti. And then up to the 16th verse, he glorified Bhakti. From 16 to 22nd, he is giving the stages of Bhakti. How? I will explain. The stages of Bhakti are given in the 16th verse. he talks about service to the devotees. Who serves the devotees? Having some Shraddha. So it starts with Shraddha, service to the devotees, and then once you get in the service of devotees and devotee association, you get affinity to hear. That encourages you to come more and more into sadhu sangha. And as you associate with the devotees and hear the names of Krishna and about Krishna, that starts the process of bhajan kriya. That is the starting of the bhajan kriya. In the 17th verse, Sud Goswami talks about anarth nivritti in the form of Paramatma cleans the heart of material desires. As one associates more and more with the devotees, the material desires should come down in some shape or form. That is anarth nivritti, no material desire, or material desires going down, down, and down. In the 18th verse, he talks about loving service is established as an irrevocable fact. When the loving service is established in someone's heart as an irrevocable fact, that is the definition of nishtha. So in the 18th verse, nishtha is described by Srila Sud Goswami. In the 19th verse, he talks about establishing in goodness and becoming happy. Establish myself in goodness and become happy. There is a story of a cow and a tiger. There is a cow who's grazing in the village and gets attracted to the grass a little outside of the village. Goes outside of her area. She knows where she's supposed to graze, but she goes outside of the area. And the outside of the village area is what? Is jungle. In the jungle, there is a tiger. The tiger is also looking for something to feed on. Of course, the tiger is not going to feed on grass. It's looking for living animals to feed on. So he finds the cow who had actually, by mistake, entered the jungle. So, he's very happy. Krishna sent me a meal. This will be a big one. I should take advantage of what Krishna has sent me and go at this cow. And he roars and jumps at the cow, and the cow runs. The cow is running crazy, frantically, just running, and enters into a muddy area. What do you call that? Where there is mud, you just sink in.
Quicksand?
Huh?
Quicksand?
Quicksand? Is it called quicksand? Huh? Chapad? In Hindi, it's called daldal. You go in, it's just mud, but it's just so much and so thick that you go in, but you can't come out. If you try to come out, you keep going in. So the cow enters the mud. And now the cow is stuck. The tiger is very happy. But in order to get to the cow, tiger also has to go into the mud. So now the tiger is inside the mud, and the tiger is realizing, my God, I can't come out. There's no way I can come out of here. And he's seeing his death right there. That today, that's it. This meal has brought me to a place where it's going to be my samadhi. I'm not going to come out of here. The tiger is really scared, really scared. The tiger has tried everything that it could, but it has understood, I can't do it. So the tiger is scared for his life and having no hope. Who will come and save a tiger? So he looks at the cow, and the cow is just happily joyful. He's not worried. The cow is not worried. Cow is happy. I got saved from the tiger. But is the cow stupid? No. The tiger asked the cow, how come you are not scared? We are stuck here in this daldal. There's no way out. We're gonna die here. Cow says, no. I'm not worried because I have an owner. I have an owner. When in the evening I do not get home, my owner will come looking for me. He will not quit looking for me until he finds me. So I am just happily waiting for my owner to arrive and rescue me. I know he is a human. He will devise a plan to get me out of here. So that's why I am not worried. But the tiger is worried because the tiger has no owner. Nobody owns the tiger. Nobody is going to come looking for the tiger. Nobody is going to rescue him. So there is the difference between somebody who is a devotee and somebody who is not. As a tiger, I do anything and everything to please my senses. I do anything and everything to enjoy my senses. I don't care about anybody else. Does the tiger care about anybody else? No. Only cares for himself. But the cow is not worried because the cow is under the protection of her owner. That is the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. In the verse 19, he talks about Srila Sut Goswami, established in goodness and becomes happy. Yeah, so that was Ruchi. Now, in the 20th, it talks about the mind is enlivened by devotional service. There are 2 points in here. Mind enlivened by devotional service. That is compared to as bhava. And gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the liberated stage. That is prema. So from the 16th to the 22nd, Srila Sut Goswami is going to be explaining the yoga process all the way from Shraddha to Prema. We are on the 20th today, so we are talking about Bhava and Prema. So in this verse, there are 2 key words. One is prasanna manasa, whose mind is enlivened by devotional service. That is bhava, prasanna manasa. Prasanna manasa is bhava, the one whose mind is enlivened by devotional service. The second is bhagavad tattva vijnanam, one who has gained positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the liberated stage. So one who has gained positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the liberated stage is the prema, is the ultimate stage. The knowledge of bhakti or Krishna or the Supreme Personality of Godhead or devotional service is a special kind of knowledge. There are 5 kinds of knowledge in the Bhagavatam. There are 5 kinds of knowledge, or Srila Prabhupada talks about 5 kinds of knowledge. Anybody remembers the 5 kinds of knowledge? 5 kinds of knowledge, anybody on the Zoom? The 5 kinds of knowledge are, number 1, pratyaksha jnana. Pratyaksha jnana. Prati is according to aksha is my eye, what I can see. Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha praman or pratyaksha jnana. So, in the essence of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we learn about Pratyaksha Praman and Shastra Praman. That Shastra Praman here is named Paroksha Gyan. Paroksha Gyan is something that we learn from the authority, from some authority. We gain some knowledge by our eyes, by our experience. Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki. So there is Pratyaksha Gyan we gain from our own experience, our own eyes, our own senses. Paroksha Praman, Paroksha Gyan is Gyan given to us by an authority. Like if a child wants to go too close to the fire, the father says, no, you will burn yourself. Some children will still burn themselves, but most don't burn themselves. They listen to the father. Yes, okay, I will not go close to the fire because I don't want to be burned. So that is Paroksha Gyan. And the third one is Aparoksha Gyan. Aparoksha Gyan is knowledge Gyan we acquire on the basis of our Pratyaksha Gyan and Paroksha Gyan. We have some Pratyaksha Gyan, we have some Paroksha Gyan. On the basis of this knowledge, we acquire some more knowledge, gradually maturing into learning more. You teach the child how to add 2 to 2, 3 to 3, and then they will know how to add 4 to 4. You teach the child, okay, how to add 3 numbers to 3 numbers, 3 digit numbers to another 3 digit number. Then, if you give them 4 digit number, they will add the 4 digit number on the same principle as 3 digit number to a 3 digit number. Now there's a 4 digit number to a 4 digit number. That is aparoksh. I wasn't taught that, but matured into learning, gaining that knowledge. The fourth kind of gyan is adhokshaja gyan. Adhokshaja gyan is completely beyond the ability of my senses. Beyond my ability. I cannot. There's just no way I can think of this, no way I can see this, no way I can learn this. It is just adhokshaja. That is also name of Krishna. It's also name of Jnana, Adhokshaja Jnana. And then fifth and the final kind of Jnana is Aprakrata Jnana. Aprakrata Jnana is transcendental knowledge, Divya Jnana, or supernatural, Aprakrata, above and beyond. Divya, transcendental knowledge, is aprakrata jnana. So, knowledge about Krishna, knowledge about bhakti, Srila Prabhupada says, fall into adhokshaja jnana and aprakrata jnana. We cannot really see it, we cannot really experience it, and even the Shastra cannot give us that. Shastra can show us the way, can help, like paroksha and aparoksha, but then to go beyond, to deeply understand the science of Krishna consciousness, it is adhokshaja jnana. That will only come from Krishna Kripa. I cannot acquire it. I cannot take this many courses and okay, now I know the science of God. No course will really take me to prema. No course can take me to bhava. All of this can help. It can help. It can give me some pratyaksha jnana. It can give me paroksha jnana. It can maybe give me a lot of aparoksha jnana, but it will not give me adhokshaja jnana, and it will definitely not give me aprakrata jnana. It can point to it. That is the point Srila Prabhupada is trying to make here in the purport, that one must become Brahmana, and in order to become Brahmana, he has to rise himself to Sattva Guna, and then perform devotional service, perform bhakti. Without bhakti, you will not rise to that Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. First you become Brahmana, then you become Vaishnava, then you execute devotional service, and get out of all the material contamination, and then finally you get prema or the knowledge, aprakrita jnana or adhokshaja jnana. So prasanna manasa, by enlivened mind, devotional service will bring us to bhava, and Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead, that will be prema. Then we understood the 5 kinds of jnana. And Srila Prabhupada is quoting 7.3. Manushyanam sahastretu kaschit yatati siddhaye yattamapi siddhanam kaschinnam veti tattvata. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So Srila Prabhupada explained the purport of that verse in the purport of this verse very nicely. Then he is referring to 1855. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschashmi tattvata tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tadantaram. One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. So, there is a word in this purport called the Vasudeva stage. That is something that we don't hear about every day. Vasudeva stage. One has to get into the Vasudeva stage. And the Vasudeva stage is not explained here. But further, in the 3rd canto, 26th chapter, verse 21, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada has explained the Vasudeva stage. The Vasudeva stage is free from infringement of material desires and is the status in which one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or the objective which is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Adbhuta. Adbhuta is supernatural, wonderful. This is another feature of the Mahatattva. The Vasudeva expansion is also called Krishna consciousness. The Vasudeva expansion is also called Krishna consciousness, for it is free from all tinges of material passion and ignorance. This clear state of understanding helps one to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vasudeva status is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita as Kshetrajna, which refers to the knower of the field of activities, as well as the superknower. The living being who has occupied a particular type of body knows that body. But the superknower, Vasudeva, knows not only that particular type of body, but also the field of activities in all the different varieties of bodies. In order to be situated in clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one must worship Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Krishna alone. When Krishna or Vishnu is alone without the accompaniment of his internal energy, he is Vasudeva. When he is accompanied by his internal potency, he is called Dwarkadhisha. To have the clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one has to worship Vasudeva. It is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita that after many, many words, one surrenders to Vasudeva. Such a great soul is very rare. That is referring to the words Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanvan Mam Tatvadyate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So, Vasudeva stage and Vasudev is clearly explained here, and that's why always before starting the class we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That Vasudev refers to this Vasudev, the supernover, the pure Krishna, Krishna consciousness without the internal potencies, not Dwarkadish. To have clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one must worship Vasudeva. That's why this word is also used in that verse. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. Any question? I can go on explaining this all day. Yes.
I like how you were drawing the parallel between those stages of bhakti in this chapter. That was quite interesting. And,
The world is my family. So once we become Krishna conscious, we see Vasudeva everywhere. Kutumbaka means family, so we say Vasudeva Kutumbaka. That's my main slogan, by the way.
did you catch that?
What is there a question?
Did you hear me?
I heard part of it.
Okay. Should I repeat it? There's no question. I am saying
I didn't get the complete question. Did you get
The
it?
famous sutra is Vasudeva Kutumbaka. The world is my family, seeing God everywhere.
Yes.
That's my point. Then you are Krishna conscious.
Yes.
That's the definition. Vasudeva Kutumbaka Dakshan.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaji. Anybody else raising their hand? You got interrupted.
I was saying that, here, I'll just put my mark. I was saying that I appreciated this parallel that you were making between the stages of bhakti and the verse here. And is it just those, like up until you said chapter, up until text 22, you said it was, or
Yeah.
22? And are you, do you know in other places where that same parallel appears in that way?
In the Bhagavad Subodhini, that's where I got it.
Oh, okay.
This is subject matter of the Bhakti Vaibhava. So when we study the Bhakti Vaibhava, we study the verses as clumps or groups as to what message they are giving. Within the chapter, message changes. So some verses are grouped together, and then the matter changes within the same chapter. So, from 1 to 6, Srila Goswami comes to bhakti. Then, for the next 10 verses, he glorifies bhakti. For the next 8 verses, he is actually giving the progress in bhakti, not naming those names. Those names are not there. Otherwise, it would be completely visible. And then from 23rd onwards, he will start to talk about Krishna. Bhakti and Bhagwan. From 23rd onwards, he will, to the end of the chapter, he will talk about different forms, Purusha avtaras, Krishna's different forms. That's leading up to the 3rd chapter. In the 3rd chapter, on the 28th verse, he will finally say, Ete cham sakala pumsam, Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. So all this is leading to that famous words. But before that, Savapunsa Parodharma, that where he explains bhakti. That starts from 6 and glorification of bhakti to 16, to 15, and from 16 to 21 is the processes of bhakti. Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajan kriya, ruchi, nishtha, asakti, bhava, prema, and then he will go into Krishna. So there's chapters within the chapters. So when they do the analytical study as a matter of bhakti vaibhava, then you take those chapters and break them down. Okay, here is this matter. This group of verses are giving this matter, and so on, like that. So they broke it down and they made the comparison that, okay, service to the devotees, affinity to hear, this is Shraddha and Sadhu Sangha. Who will you hear if there is no Sadhu Sangha? If you hear, that means there is Sadhu Sangha. If you're hearing about Krishna, you're hearing Krishna Katha, there is Sadhu Sangha, and so on. It is explained briefly how Srila Sut Goswami gave all the steps of bhakti. And it is also said that if we know the steps, then if somebody asks us, okay, you are Krishna devotee and you want me to be a Krishna devotee, could I ask you, have you seen Krishna? So we can say that, yes, I am trying to be a devotee and I am trying to take all these steps, and at the final step, prema, I will see Krishna. Like that, I see Krishna every day on the altar. But do I really see him? Do I really understand him? That Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam is a loaded word. Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam will take you all the way to prema. So at least if we haven't reached, we know where we're going. We have taken a step or two. We know the next steps. And we know at the end of these steps, there is Krishna. So if you want to come along, come with me. We don't claim to have seen God. We don't claim to have seen God. We don't claim that we really, really understand the Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam yet. But if we know our steps, we know where we're going. Like the GPS will show you, this is where you are, this is where you need to get to. Now I will guide you step by step, turn by turn, where to turn to reach to the final goal. So this is the GPS giving the direction from Shraddha to Prema. And Srila Sut Goswami has beautifully put it together. Actually, first was extracted from this by Srila Rup Goswami. And then Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained the same steps later again in his book Madhurya Kadambari. So from there, the Vaishnava community knows these steps and they can trace it back to Srila Sut Goswami's verses. Anything else? Manu Prabhu?
Question very deep subject matter.
Is it deep?
Luciano.
Lucian?
Yeah, because I like that story about the cow and the farmer, and but you know, like it's kind of analyzing it, because you know the cow when she went to that mud, right? She was sinking. So although she was happy, she must have some experience with that she knew that she won't drown, right? Because in the mud she could be, sinking and then she would die, right?
Yes.
So she probably knew something that she probably is safe there and won't die.
Yes.
So that was the kind of the experience, right? So kind of like it comes to my mind that we need the experience, or after we attain a jnana, right? And that experience, but experience in material world or experience with others. So we get. But I have a question actually.
Yes.
How when we go, outside the material world, how not to be affected by this material world, and maintain our, serenity and Krishna consciousness, but not being affected by the material world.
You first said when we go out of this material world?
When we get in touch, like we want to experience, like Shastras tells us to also experience, right? Not only have that knowledge, the Brahma, right? The knowledge, but also to experience which by our experience we deepen our knowledge, right? Then we have more understanding, and then we can I'm not very good at explaining. I just basically my question is how not to be affected by material world where we try to use our knowledge and experiencing the material world.
Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya. So by staying in devotee association, by staying in the association of the Nam and Krishna Katha, that is what is going to protect us from getting into the material side of the material world. Krishna Naam and Krishna Katha. Sadhu Sangha. Of course, Sadhu Sangha is added, or you can say Sadhu Sangha, because with the Sadhu Sangha, you will get Krishna Naam and Krishna Katha. Or you can say these are the three keys. Now, going back to the story of the cow, the point was that the tiger has lost faith in himself and the cow has lost faith in herself, because both of them are feeling stuck and cannot get out. But the cow still has the faith left because she has an owner. And she knows my owner will come and find me. Whereas the tiger doesn't have an owner. If he's lost, he's lost. Nobody is going to come to get him. That is the faith. Faith of the devotee upon Krishna, my owner, no matter what happens, my owner will come and find me. The tiger doesn't have that faith.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Any other question? Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande.